Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a voiceover so I can pay attention of filming this look. I am going in with the mini controversy palette. I'm taking a root beer float in that palette and setting my base because this is going to be a gingerbread look. And I thought that shade would be the best gingerbread color in the palette. I hope you like this video with the voiceover. I know it's something different than what I'm doing, but in the end, it'll all work out. I'm just gonna keep setting my base. Next, I go in with this benefit camper. It is part of their holiday collection. I actually take a little bit of the hula that is in it to go over some of the spots that I missed with the mini controversy palette, and I thought this would make like a variation. Next, I'm going in with the Morphe concealer in the 0. It's literally white as white can get. And I'm making these like little swoops to do like the top of the gingerbread house. It was so hard for me to get the swoops to go right. But I think it all worked out in the end. I think my left side was harder than my right side to get them symmetrical, or at least looking good, because that is my non-dominant side. So I get a little bit harder on that side than my right side. So I just keep adding and adding these swoops. And I go back in later on down the road and I mix some of this with my a little bit darker concealer, so to give it a little bit more dimension. You can't really notice it too much, but it helped the aesthetic in the long run. I'm going to be setting it with Ranch from the Controversy palette. I thought this would be a nice shade to set it with because it's not stark white, but there's a little bit of glitter in it. So I wanted to tone down the brightness of that white. So going in with my all-time favorite Pete Louise base in Rumor 2. Ever since that I seen Lipstick Nick using this, it like is my holy grail. And I just use like a little flat crease brush. It is the Morphe M421 brush. And it's so little and nice, and it's great to carve out your eyebrows whenever I do my eyebrows. For this look, I wanted to keep my eyebrows the way they are and not draw attention to it. Next, I'm going to go in with some more of the... I think I'm doing Tanacon first. And then I go in with Root Beer from the Controversy palette. Just for it to get like a base down. I didn't want to start with just the Pete Louise base. So yeah. You mix a little bit of Tanacon with the root beer float. Or diet root beer, not root beer float. Sorry about that. And I went off camera and cut my crease because It's hard for me to cut creases without taking the mirror and holding it clear up against my face, but I'm going in with Hot Cheeto. Not Hot Cheeto. What's the name? Flaming Hot. Flaming Hot. That's the real name. And you see I messed up. I actually stuck my brush on accident into spiraling. That's right above Flaming Hot in the palette. So I gently wiped it off with a Q-tip and I went back in over with the Pete Louis base, and that fixed it right up. The base is like perfect to fix your mistakes when you're messing up, because it's like the perfect shade that blends in nicely with everything. So I am patting on the Flaming Hot color because I want intense, not just like a light blown out pink. So I'm trying to pack it on so it's nice and vibrant. I'm doing just a little bit of blending around the edges. I went off camera and I cut it again because I wanted that bottom line to be nice and sharp. And I needed to put some more of the Pete Louis base on my lid. So I'm going to go back in with the Diet root beer on the outer corner to darken it up. And I wanted to keep it in the brown. So I'm just keeping blending with Diet root beer. And then I go back in with some Tanacon too to blend that out. And now I am taking Just a Theory, I believe, on the lid color. And it's like a really pretty champagne color. I absolutely love it. This would be great for wedding looks. I go off camera and I cut the crease again. I was going to make it into like a candy cane, but I ended up just doing a line, and now I'm taking Jeffree Star's liquid lipsticks and I'm making a little bit of little dots. I took Crocodile Tears for the green and Red Rum for the red. Later on down the road, I put these same dots on the white top of the gingerbread house. I thought it tied it all together. Actually loved how the dots looked. I went off camera and did my other eye because I was not trying to do the other eye on camera. So I'm taking that white concealer again, and I'm going to be putting that all at the bottom of my face, my bottom lip, and down onto my chin, and a little bit down my neck. And this is like the snowy icing that you put around the bottom of the gingerbread houses. Like the texture of what the brush was doing, making like little lines. So I didn't blend it with like a big brush. I just kept using the applicator that is in the concealer, and just going back and forth to get that streaky icing texture. Back and put Drug Lord on my lips. That is Jeffree Star's white liquid lipstick, because I found that the white on the lips wasn't sticking whenever I put my lips together, so I went back and put the Drug Lord on my lips. And this, I am drawing a snowman. I actually mix a little bit of Drug Lord in with the concealer to make it a little bit thicker. I'm just using a small curved brush from Sephora, I believe. This is a great brush for detail work. And there you can see that I finished. I also added 2 lines on the side with like a brown liquid lipstick to kind of put those as like the walls of the gingerbread house. And now I'm taking the Crocodile Tears Red Rum and Queen Bee, that is the yellow, I believe that's what it's called, from the Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks. I absolutely love using his liquid lipsticks for detail work, and they stay really good too. So I'm using these 3 lipsticks to draw little gumdrops along the bottom, just to make like a fence for the gingerbread house. Keep repeating the yellow, green, red the whole way across. Kind of tell that on my lips, I was having a little bit of trouble keeping the white from mixing in with the gumdrops on my top lip. But before I took pictures and stuff, I touched it all up, and I kept my lips very, very still whenever I was doing that, so I didn't have to touch it up again and again. But having the Drug Lord lipstick on my bottom lip really helped instead of just the concealer. This look took forever to do. I think from beginning to end it took me maybe 4 hours to complete, and that's stopping in between to like get a drink and use the restroom and all that jazz. Luckily my daughters were already in bed, so I just didn't have that many interruptions I usually have whenever I try to do my makeup. Looks like these, I usually do them at night whenever I can just sit down and play. And then I'm tired by the end, but it's well worth it. I think the gumdrops took the longest for me to do because there were so many and I had to keep switching colors off my brush and reapplying the lipstick on my hand. I really need to invest in like a palette, or like those paper palettes that painters use. Yeah, that would really help me because I'm always constantly wiping off my hand during applications. Even with my regular makeup, I put everything on my hand. I think having a little palette nearby would help me a lot. I switched off and I finished the gumdrops off camera because I didn't think that you would like to watch me do the whole way across. And now I'm drawing a circle base with sweet tea, and this is a lip liner, and I'm going to be drawing a wreath at the top. So I'm going to take crocodile tears and this little brush that I've been using, the angled brush from Sephora. The number on it says 23. I'm not sure if they updated that or not, because I got that a long time ago. But the bristles on it is like the perfect shape for a leaf. So literally all I had to do was press down in the circle to make the leaves for the wreath. Down at the bottom of the wreath was the hardest for me to do because the angle of the brush and the angles of my hand was not lining up. So I tried my best, and I think the wreath turned out really, really good. I absolutely loved how that turned out. I did mix a little bit of queen bee with the crocodile tears and a little bit of drug lord to get a lighter green, and then I went over top of it just to give it a little bit of dimension to make it look like a true leaved wreath. Really liked how the two greens came together in the end. I thought it worked out perfect. Now I'm going to take red rum, and I'm actually going to draw a bow on the wreath and some little dots for a little bit of ornaments. I had to get really up close to my mirror to draw the bow, so I didn't tape it. Here's a close-up of the bow, and I actually added some freckles here and there to give it more of a gingerbread-y texture. And I added some little snow hills at the bottom of my face, and you can see I added those dots on the top as well. I also took some of What's the Tea from the Controversy palette and put it on the sides where those lines are to kind of make it like that is the sky. And now here you can see I'm drawing a square on my nose with the sweet tea liner. And I thought this would be a good door. And I'm just coloring that square in. I was not going to put the door, but I was like, gingerbread houses have doors, so I have to make a door. I tried my best to make a like perfect square around my nose, but it was a little bit hard. So whenever I was taking pictures and moving my lips, I tried to move them subtle enough that it became a perfect square. And you can go to my Instagram to see those pictures. I've also posted some more pictures between this and some of my other looks. So always check my Instagram out. I post more on there between videos than on here. So always double check there. I was just going to leave the door, but I was like, it doesn't really look like a door. It just looks like a square. I took a little bit of the drug lord and I put dots the whole way around my nose. I thought this would be a perfect touch to do like the icing around the door, because usually whenever I make gingerbread houses with my daughters, I always put little dots around the door to make it look like garland or snow just got dropped on the door. You can see how I'm pushing my lips together to make it look like a perfect square. I went off camera and did a wood grain, and I drew some candy canes, and this is the finished look. And I drew a gingerbread man as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this voiceover, and I enjoyed making this look for you guys. Check my Instagram out, leave me a like and subscribe, and tell me what your favorite part about the holidays is.